10 wrestlers who killed someone. Inasmuch as all the to-dos, or almost all, are predetermined, professional wrestling is one of the most dangerous avenues for any athlete to dive in. The risks involved are as real can be, and the pain and torment these wrestlers put their bodies through is simply gruesome. In wrestling, there's no margin for error, as one poorly executed move could seriously injure an opponent, or even worse. Unfortunately, a lot of wrestlers face problems outside of the ring, mainly due to them turning to drugs and alcohol to battle the pain they put their bodies through. Sometimes, a wrestler can go to the extreme and actually take the life of another individual as a consequence of this drug dependency. With all this in mind, here are top 10 wrestlers who actually killed someone. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. The first person on our list is the Great Khali. During his WWE tenure, he achieved the reputation of being one of the worst on the list. His matches were always met with negative reviews, and the vast majority of them had sleep-throughs of even the most elementary moves. WWE even gave Khali a world title run in 2007, which contained some of the worst title matches of the Crow Hostility era, even when facing top talent such as Rey Mysterio and Batista. Despite this, Khali had quite a horrible reputation prior to his signing at WWE, and the reason for that reputation is shocking. During his days as an independent wrestler, Khali was facing a man called Brian Hong for the promotion called Alpha Wrestling. Hong had gotten a serious concussion prior to the match in training. However, the staff at Alpha Wrestling asked him to go on and compete in the match with Khali. Khali hit Hong with a flapjack, a basic move which is perfectly safe when executed correctly and isn't performed on somebody with a concussion. Unfortunately, taking the flapjack resulted in Hong receiving a second concussion, which resulted to him passing away. Hong's family sued the Alpha Wrestling promotion and were awarded $1.3 million. Khali's reputation was tarnished, but it didn't stop WWE from signing him. Number 2. Jimmy Snuka. WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Snuka is one of the most renowned wrestling figures of all time. His dive from the top of the cage at Madison Square Garden continues to be played in highlights and might likely to be showcased forever. Despite his legendary career, a dark mark will always exist on Snuka's legacy, which is due to the passing of his girlfriend Nancy Argentino. Following a match in 1983, Snuka called an ambulance to attend to Nancy, where she unfortunately passed away due to brain injury. Snuka was the only suspect in the case to find out who was responsible for her strange death. There wasn't enough evidence to convict him of the crime. Despite this, in 2013, 32 years after Nancy's passing, Snuka was arrested and charged with third-degree murder. However, it was eventually ruled that Snuka wasn't mentally fit to stand trial and later passed away in 2017. The case with Nancy to date remains unresolved. Third on our list is Scott Hall. Scott Hall is one of the most celebrated wrestlers of all time. He attained success in WWE under the Razor Ramon and then later as part of the most famous factions of all time in WECW with the NWO alongside Nancy and Hogan. Many fans are unaware that the legendary wrestler Scott Hall was involved in the killing of another human being. At age 25, Hall got into a confrontation with the man outside the nightclub he was bartending for. The man pulled out the gun on Hall and Hall managed to seize the gun and shot the man dead. He was never punished for the incident because he quite rarely claimed self-defense and the case was dropped. In a later interview with ESPN in 2011, Hall reflected on the incident stating that it will haunt him forever. Number 4. Ox Baker. Ox Baker isn't a well-known name in the world of professional wrestling. If fans know who he is, it is most likely due to negative reasons. He was involved in the death of two wrestlers in the 1970s. Baker used a finishing called the hop punch. The move is a basic strike to the chest area and if done properly, should in the least hurt the wrestler taking the move. Unfortunately, Baker wasn't aware of this. In 1971, he hit Alberto Torres with the move and as a result Torres passed away from a ruptured appendix. Later, a wrestler known as Ray Khan had a heart attack in the ring as a result of taking a hit from Baker and he died shortly after. Baker was never charged with these crimes as were classified as accidents. He kept on working to 2014 when he passed away at 80. Number 5. Brian McGee. The name Brian McGee may not ring a bell to many wrestling fans. He was rather an unknown wrestler, but was at one stage in the WWE Development Territory FCW, but he never received a main roster call-out. However, McGee was in the headlines in 2013 when he brutally stabbed his ex-girlfriend to death. Crazier is the fact that he even uploaded a photo of his ex-girlfriend's bloody arm to his personal Facebook page. He is now serving a life sentence for his awful act. Number 6. Saito. Wrestling is so dangerous that one wrongly executed move could be deadly. This was evident in a match in Japan in 2009 where Saito teamed with a wrestler called Bison Smith against the team Misoa and Shiozaki. The match was set to run for 30 minutes but unfortunately it ended suddenly when Saito performed a back suplex on Misoa. Misoa was motionless and the match stopped instantly. The medical team attempted CPR but it was too late. Misoa had already passed away. It was reported that Misoa had been wrestling hurt for an extended period and that he landed wrong upon impact of the back suplex, which in turn severed his spinal column. Misoa was just days away from celebrating his 47th birthday, and despite his premature passing, Misoa attained an exceptional legacy in Japanese wrestling that will stay with wrestling fans forever. Number 7. Jose Gonzalez. Legendary wrestler Bruzo Brody is one of the most famous yet tragic stories in the history of professional wrestling. Story goes that in July 1988, popular Puerto Rican wrestler Jose Gonzalez got into an argument behind the stage with Bruzo Brody, which led to a physical confrontation and which in turn had tragic consequences. 2 screams were heard in the shower area of the locker room, and this led to wrestling legend Tony Atlas rushing to see what the screams were, and there he saw Brody holding his stomach while Gonzalez held a knife. Due to the population outside the arena, it took medics quite a long time to attend to Brody, and he unfortunately passed away the same day. Gonzalez claimed self-defense and was acquitted of murder. Next is Werner Gagne. Werner had gotten the reputation of one of the most respected wrestlers of all time due to his territorial works in his days of professional wrestling, and he was also known as the owner of the American Wrestling Association. He also went on to be inducted at the WWE, WECW, and Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, which speaks volumes of how respected he was. And that notwithstanding, in 2009, Gagne was involved in an incident which haunted his legacy forever. He got into a confrontation with a 97-year-old man, and he threw him to the ground, where the man unfortunately died from the injuries he got from the fall. Gagne was suffering from dementia, and that meant that he wasn't able to form the necessary mental capacity required for him to be blamed for the fact. His crime therefore went unpunished. Number 9. New Jack. New Jack has acquired a reputation of being one of the most dangerous and honestly craziest wrestlers in the history of pro wrestling. There have been several occasions where he has attempted to end the life of a fellow wrestler, from the mass transit incident where he almost made a fellow wrestler bleed to death by cutting him too deeply. I mean, who can forget the time he tasered Vic Rhymes and threw him off the scaffolding, which nearly ended him on the spot? Checked himself for being responsible for up to 4 homicides during his time as a bounty hunter prior to getting into the crazy world of professional wrestling. Despite him claiming responsibility for multiple deaths, it's important we know that these homicides haven't been verified by anyone other than Jack himself. Funny, right? And last on our list, Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit is one of, if not the greatest technical wrestler of all time. He was also one of the most popular wrestlers of all time, and he had a really loyal fan base. He was on the way to the Hall of Fame worthy career when in the main event of WrestleMania 20, he defeated both Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Nevertheless, all the admirations was forever tarnished in 2007. Benoit was scheduled to face CM Punk for the ECW title, but he was unable to make the event due to him claiming the lives of his wife Nancy and his son Daniel, who were suffering from food poisoning. The sad reality was that Chris had ended them both before taking his own life. Once news came out in relation to Benoit's actions, McMahon declared that the Chris Benoit name would never again be mentioned in WWE television. It was revealed that Chris Benoit had the brain capacity of an old man with dementia due to the wear and tear he had undertaken through his numerous years of professional wrestling. This and an abusive relationship with drugs accounts for his behavior. The doctor who prescribed these drugs admitted he overprescribed them and in turn served 10 years in prison. Well, there you have it guys, 10 wrestlers who have killed someone. Tell us what you think in the comment section, and if for any reason you haven't subscribed yet, please do so you won't be left out when next we upload any amazing content.